Good point.
Do am ambient. No, that doesn't have enough stuff.
Geonosian
Hang on. I need a. How
was.
about ambient storm?
What a Google search, Jonah.
Eh,
I don't know what to tell you.
eh.
I just know what to say to that.
All right. Anyway, so where's a good one? I need something not to.
It's just you melted.
This works.
Put it in the fridge real quick.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Anyway,
We're looking up fantasy dubstep. Here we go.
fantasy dubstep. That's what we need in life. So, last we left off, it started in Sansari's castle, floating all like 1,000 feet in the air or so. And Sansari killed the dragon she had in her dungeon. Felgalos freed. The group talked to Thulin, her brother, who did not approve of her actions, but was bound by honor due to a promise he made to their parents. However, he gave you free access to the library where you found her spellbook, her journal, and research notes. So Ethan has learned much about the process behind what was done to him, when he was taken, things like that. Then you guys took a pit stop at Yartar. You found this was like 2 sessions ago, wasn't it? Whatever. Pit stop at Yartar. Met some of one of Crane's contacts. Crane had a bit of an awkward reunion with his dad.
Dad?
And then
Father.
you guys made your way towards Grudhaug, the hill giant den. You found a broken down, kind of falling apart tower that had a crying hill giant in it. Crane was very upset that this hill giant was pretty pitiful. But the hill giant led them to the den, which they probably could have found on their own, but did pull away one of the guards at the entrance. So there's that. The group then, using their instant fortress, kind of leapfrogged their way into the base while having the newly animated undead Sansuri chuck sheep at
I forgot about that.
any hill giants that dared poke their head outside. Until eventually you basically just broke down the door, stormed into the building, and whooped up on everyone who was guarding Chief Ga. Pretty decisively. I don't think there were too many injuries on your guys' side. I think you were pretty much fine.
Yeah, like I've taken like the tiniest bit of damage.
Yeah, like Ethan's skeletons going to work, and until eventually you have, as I mentioned earlier, there's an ogre left over who's if I remember correctly, he's like almost dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the paper. It's one of these papers, but I got so many papers with numbers on it. It doesn't matter. It's one freaking ogre, and I'm pretty sure he's been smacked a couple times already, meaning he's almost dead. So he doesn't look too sure about wanting to fight. And you have Chief Ga, who is this massive, morbidly obese to the point of not being able to move, sitting on this wagon that the axles are broken on it, and the wheels are canted inward. I mean, and it's like lined with some hay. It smells kind of funny. And that is where we left off. It appears that for right now, you're not immediately being attacked. Chief Ga is kind of beginning to babble a little bit. She looks worried. And is...
As one would.
Yeah, and it's hard to entirely hear what she's saying. But something along the lines of, like, would want food, want, like, trying to figure out what you guys are here for.
See, what I'm going to do is pull out my short swords and just start walking at her at a decent pace.
Okay.
Not running, just speed walking.
Okay. Yeah, walking towards her. She looks kind of wary of you. You do notice as you get closer, there is like a club sitting next to the wagon. It is within arm's reach. Just something to be mindful of. You're not sure what she's gonna do, but yeah, you're walking up towards her, and she's. I mean, it'd be hard enough to understand her if you knew Giant. Seeing as you don't, you have no idea what this creature is saying.
Okay. Is anyone going with me?
Yeah. This is like starts walking that direction. Thinks like, I really hope somebody's like there at least.
At least watching.
I mean, everybody else is within like the entryway of the room. So,
Ogre isn't hostile at all.
the ogre is like backing up towards the wall.
Basically bleeding out on the ground.
It is, yeah. It's not. He's just kind of staying away from you guys. He kind of like you notice he forgot his club like 20 feet away as he backed away. Like he's not interested in fighting.
Once I get in front of her, I'm just going to ask, like, can you even speak common?
She gives you a puzzled look. The rest of you hear her say, "What want? Want food? Have food. Have lots of food."
Yeah, dang it, dude. That's right, you don't speak.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna walk up, boys.
Is somebody going to translate?
Yes, I'm gonna translate.
Alright, so Crane, how close are you walking?
Like within like 10 feet or
Okay.
like.
So yeah, you're 10 feet away. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Is Ethan translating?
Yes, I imagine Ethan. Well,
She wants to know if you would like to eat.
Ethan,
Yes.
I want you to ask her something.
Okie dokie.
Would you like to be stabbed or shot?
He says no to the food.
just, okay, kind of a nod. It's like, no, not here for food.
She does not wish to be stabbed or shot.
She so like looking around, like taking stock, like rocks.
So I'm gonna go with stab because that's more cathartic, and I'm just going to leap at her in a fucking frenzy.
Okay. In that case, roll an attack. Roll initiative.
So initiative is 15.
Okay. Yes. Go ahead.
That is a 14.
14 to hit?
Yes.
Yeah. You just leap right at her and just sink the blades in. She can't move. She's an easy target.
Oh my god. This is the highest I've ever rolled on this.
This would be the time to do it.
9, 15, 20?
20 points of damage?
25.
25 points of damage.
Yes.
On the first strike?
Yes.
Alright, go ahead and roll your... Are you attacking again, I take it?
Yeah. That's a 26.
Oh yeah, you bet.
And then that is 7 damage.
So 32 in total?
Yeah.
Okay. As you leap at her and stab into her, she grabs this club that's next to her and then takes a swing at you with it. But yeah,
Dude, she's a giant. It's so easy to hit me.
You definitely beat her as far as what's it called? Initiative goes. Yeah.
Well, she's basically a wheelchair bound.
Yeah, an immobile storm giant. Yeah.
Storm giant?
Not storm giant. Sorry.
Wait a minute.
So literally, I'm just literally her dexterity is a 1. Because she cannot move.
Gee, she must be really good at those dexterity saving.
So anyway, to hit, it looks like a 21.
That does indeed hit.
And a 25.
I'm going to use fucking uncanny dodge.
That would be wise. Alright, and then... Alright, so we'll do... First attack is 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
So 9.
And then the second attack, that's actually a lot less. So you used it on the right one. It was 10
Okay, so 19 damage.
in total. Alright. Now, does anybody else want to get in on this? Is anybody else joining initiative?
Yep.
If he's getting hit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that they two, and we'll go back to the top of the order. So then he'll go. Well, yeah. Remember your initiative there, Crane. So, right. Go ahead and roll initiative if you guys want in. We'll start at the top, and yeah. Just since there's talking going on, and then Crane leaps in, and then she kind of attacks back. I gave that a quick little thing, and then I figured dive into normal. So, 20 and up. 15 to 20. 10 to 15.
Guys?
11.
Okay. So, Crane, you had a 15, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Crane, then Ethan had an 11. How about a 5 to 10? Ooh.
Oh my god.
Wow. 0 to 5.
We got a 3.
You guys
We
are
rolled a
impressive. All right. So Crane, you're up. She swings back. She can't like move, like walk, but she's still strong. As these this massive this chunk of tree just slams into you.
So first one is a 16, and second one is a 24.
24 and a 16. Yes.
Yes.
Her AC is even lower than normal hill giants.
I suppose that makes sense.
It's 9. She has a little bit more health, though.
I mean, I suppose it makes sense. Like, she's not very mobile.
It doesn't freaking matter, though. Like,
And
she's...
she doesn't really have armor. It's more like...
Not really.
They literally can't mess with wood.
Okay, so what's the damage there, Crane?
13. In total, 22 plus 4, 26.
26 points of damage as you just keep carving into this giant. There's kind of shouts, like just grunts of pain. Being up close, the smell is awful. You kind of like, just like on her breath, you can smell whatever it was last she ate, and you don't think hill giants really make a whole lot of differentiate. Like, they don't really differentiate between like food that is good and food that is rotten. It's all the same to them. So it's just like bits of, I mean, rotten meat and fruit and other disgusting, like, just smells just assail your senses as you are up close. Next, Ethan.
What about dead wife, you son of a bitch?
That's hot.
I'm about to roll initiative for the wisp. I'll do it. Turn.
Yeah, there's Ethan.
Sensory definitely would have moved in and moved down.
Yeah, I would say you guys had some time to move up. Yeah, I'd say she's in the room.
She throws.
We'll say Malachi is staring down this ogre.
She throws whatever.
As it, yeah, I mean, she could pick up, but you take your pick. There's barrels,
Ogre body.
broken down tables, bodies. You pick something. There's all sorts of crap for her to
18?
chuck. Yeah, 18 hits.
And then it was 2d10, right? Plus 6. Ooh. 22?
22 points of damage.
Yeah. And then the first, that's another 18 for the first two skeletons.
Firing squad. Yep.
15 for the
Yeah. So that's 2.
15 again.
Yeah. It's gonna be real hard for the abyss.
Should be one more, right? No, that's 23.
Okay, yeah, it hits.
And then that one's 18.
Yeah.
So I do 50 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just gonna. Actually, no. Yes. This is where it's pokey. Some of the dice. Oh my. That's disgusting.
Kinda.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fives?
My God.
It's a
30.
wee bit of damage.
And then 40, 50, another 50 damage. So it's 100 damage.
100 points of damage as these arrows go flying into her. Yeah, she's breathing heavy. Already looks terrible.
It's my turn.
Oh fuck, man! I forgot.
I forgot he's actually a man. He is not a legion of skeletons. He is a man with a God damn it!
What, 21?
Yeah. Chill touching?
Okay. No. Well,
Touch him.
yeah.
Well, what are you
touch
casting?
it. No, we're chill touching it. For 12 points of necrotic.
Okay. Yeah, black veins beginning to appear beneath the skin. As the spectral hand begins to just drain her life essence away.
I stroke her.
It is now the giant's turn again.
Damn.
Because the rest of you
Ouchie.
rolled like balls.
Yeah, we did. Solidarity.
So
bro.
she's just gonna keep swinging at the thing in front of her.
How
That's a
dare she.
25.
Not
Oh
run.
yeah, I use
And-
uncanny dodge, obviously.
And the other one was a 1.
That definitely.
And
Go,
then
go, go.
that's
The one.
pretty. It's pretty garbage. It's pretty garbage rolls actually on top of that. So like damage wise. So you take 15 points of damage.
Is it halved? Or...
No. So you would take.
I was about to be like,
You take 7 then.
I
For
was
Dunkin' Donuts.
very concerned.
Yeah. You
This
take.
is the most I've ever been damaged in this campaign.
So.
Fucking supposed to be on the front.
There was the fire giant fight.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, you're right.
There was the fire
Well, okay,
giant
no,
fight.
The goblins at the start of the campaign. They
Oh
fucked-
yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, level 1, man. I mean, a stiff breeze can nearly do you in.
Shit's rough, dude.
So yeah, she slams into you once more. The second time, she goes to swing at you, and it kind of catches it on the side of the wagon, and it kind of like bounces off. Not even close. Boyer.
Okay, I can
Don't steal this goddamn kill.
120.
She looks extremely hurt. Like she's barely hanging on.
5.
So
Okay, I guess I'll Eldritch Blast because I'm still out of range. 22,
yeah,
and then
roll damage for that.
it was 2.
2 damage.
Yeah,
Well, she can survive 2 damage.
and 12 for the next one, and another 3 damage.
Oh, she's alive.
Hey,
Barely.
Secure me.
Barely. Yarol, you're up.
So I like realistically speaking, she's in one shot range, right? Like probably.
You remember I mentioned the stiff breeze?
Well, I'm not gonna be a dick and steal
Bloodied.
the moment.
So bloodied, covered in arrows.
Let's see, do I have a way to buff Craig? I don't think I do.
I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, I don't even know how to justify as a character, but I just want to pass my turn so fucking Crane can kill her.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like, I mean, you can just like
I don't know how
you
to
get.
justify that game, but
Oh,
like,
just like hold, like basically like hold. I don't know, hold an attack just until after
fair.
Crane goes. That's you can
that's
do
fair,
that.
Yeah, hold out.
Yeah, so you're like, you've got it charged and ready to go, but you're looking at this situation, and you think better of it, and you're like, I don't want to be on the other end of that if I take this. So-
Fair.
That's fine. You can do that. Crane.
Sure.
That's a 19.
I don't think there's
And
a
then a natural 20!
Jesus Christ!
roll damage for kicks and giggles.
How much is she fucking dead? Is the question.
This is
Oh, I actually rolled pretty low. But
That's okay.
6, 8, 10, 13, 17,
21.
22, 26 damage.
She had 3 health. She had 8, and then Moyer brought it down to 3. So I was like, hey, she's alive. Crane. You stare into this thing's eyes and just hate stares back at you. She would be just like the smell, just the look, just the everything would just be utterly revolting to you if you weren't just so driven on taking this creature down. How does it happen?
I just leap up and cut her from throat to navel, like all the way down.
Like the whole stab the blade in like the ship sail and just ride it down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of you see a bit of a gruesome sight as a large chunk of just the fat is just carved open down the front of this giant. And even then, it takes a while for her to pass. It's kind of like the sick gurgling. It's not pretty until finally goes no more.
There's torches on the wall, right?
Oh yeah, there's torches around.
I'm gonna go grab one and throw it on the cart.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. You toss the torch onto the cart, and At first, it doesn't light. It's just like so much stuff coating all of this that you're just like, I'm gonna go grab a couple more torches, and you throw those on until eventually it starts to catch. This strange, almost like parody of a throne begins to go up in flames with Gus still sitting on it. You do notice that right as like the flames start to curl up the sides, there's in one of the fat folds, there's kind of like this strange movement as you see this goblin come crawling out and go and like flop down on the ground, just gasping for air.
Is it dead?
No, it's alive, but it looks terrible. I mean, he's just like on the floor, just like gasping for air. He's like, like hasn't even registered that you guys are there. It's just this little pitiful looking goblin with long droopy ears, and it's just like, it looks awful, and you don't know how long it was in there.
Huh.
Okay.
After some time, it catches its
I'm
breath.
just staring at it.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
I think we're all just kind of bewildered, like.
After some time, it kind of catches its breath. It looks up, sees the fire, looks over, sees all of you, kind of like freaks out and scurries out like the backside of the room.
Okay.
Huh.
It's in the
Okay.
book.
I honestly... No.
So the flames are starting to grow taller on this cart, and eventually it'll start to catch the things around it. All of this entire area is made of wood.
Yeah, I'm gonna sheathe my swords and turn around and be like, well, are we done here?
Yeah.
I think so.
No, we're not. The fucking conch. You idiots.
We already have.
one.
We have one.
Well, there's another one.
Well, I don't need.
Well, I thought he said that it gives us extra, like, ways into it or something. I
It
thought there were...
having two, so it would allow you to bring more with you. So teleportation has a certain number of creatures it can bring. I think it's 8 is the max. So if you have 2, you can teleport 16. So if somebody's got, say, I don't know, an undead army, that might be helpful.
That's actually the perfect amount for the 5 of us and the 11 skeletons. So
And Sansuri.
Yeah, so let's start searching the rooms
Room, yeah.
quickly.
we're gonna leave them behind. Shit.
Magical survival.
If I were a giant, where would I hide my
Let's see.
conch?
Yeah, it's magical. So you got detect magic up?
Yeah.
Moira, yeah. You do notice there's a slight magical glow coming from the flaming cart.
Oh, fuck.
Damn it.
Like
Uh,
under her?
Yeah, as best you can tell, yeah.
Did she eat the conch?
Did she eat the conch?
I want to use Mage Hand.
It seems
to try
like-
and grab it.
I mean, you
It's
can reach. You're trying to root around. You don't have like
Can we knock her down?
roll. Tell you
Send
what,
can you send the wisp in there and like just kind of like?
it's a
It can't grab things.
no.
Well, you
It's
can,
that's
if you
the
find
whole
it, you can use the
ethereal
mage
thing.
hand to pick it up.
Roll. Okay, tell you what.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. You're trying to root around underneath a massive hill giant to pull out a little tiny thing that it's sitting on.
There's more than 10 pounds of weight there.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, roll. It's not quite sleight of hand because you're using magic to do it.
Arcana.
I'm gonna say Arcana.
Okay.
Can we not go
That's
over?
a nat. This dice is cursed.
What was that?
A natural 1, so
Yeah.
4.
No, you cannot get
Alright, we're
underneath
gonna-
this thing.
We're gonna let that fucking simmer down over there. It's really been nat 1, nat 20, nat 1. Like,
So you're trying to move the body, or
Yes.
as we have
Our skeletons.
A giant-
like-
Over.
Oh, we have a giant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
that can go over.
So you want to have Sansuri kind of push her over
Yeah.
off of the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll a strength check using Sansuri's. And yes, it does need it.
Okay. Well, so plus 6?
Mm-hmm.
25?
25. So Sansuri pushes against this just mass of fat, and it begins to shift, and it just ever so slowly kind of slumps over a little bit, and she manages to hold it up enough to where you guys could get access underneath. She is absurdly heavy.
Oh, God.
Book says
I would've
the
grabbed
book says 20,000 pounds.
what the
I
fuck?
Who's going underneath her, though?
mean-
Mage hand.
was to say the mage hand.
Okay, never mind.
You have access now, so you want to you read around there and you grab that conch.
Yep.
I will say, while this is happening, Sansuri takes 11 points of fire damage as
Oh, yeah,
she's
the line
as
is
she's
burning.
like in it. So yeah, you root around and then pulling out this shell. It's covered in a weird film and grease, and it's just. But it appears to be in one piece.
I want to clean it with prestidigitation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can do that for sure. Yeah. It just kind of magically, just kind of like almost like a screen wipe, just like whoop, and it's just back to its it's a color that much like the other one you had is what you would expect. You have 2 conches of teleportation now.
Cool.
Is there anything else under her? Or just the conch?
Are you wanting to go investigate?
I'll take a look. I don't know if I want to get under her.
Okay. You're gonna take a look. I guess first. Yeah, no. So you're gonna look underneath. Roll an investigation check for me. With disadvantage because the thing's on fire.
Fair. 17 actually.
17. All right. You managed to grab 150 gold pieces. And you also managed to grab you pull out, and it's like this like as you're kind of rooting around this cart, you actually managed to find this like flower pot that looks like it's carved from jade with images of green dragons worked into it.
Is it
Can I tell how much it's worth?
Roll a history check for me, Crane.
Also, just me cleaning all of these things with
Sure.
prestidigitation, because
magical or is it just a
12.
12. You're looking at it. I mean, it's jade, so it's got to be worth at least a few hundred. So, yep.
is it magical at all?
No. It apparently managed to find settle in a little spot and somehow not be crushed. Moyer, you take 5 points of fire damage.
Okay, yeah, we're going, I think.
Did we
Okay.
check out the other room real quick?
Yeah, the other, like, the upper room, or, like...
You guys are up on
The
You
northern-
guys are the upper
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, so let's check the northern room real quick. Like this one.
Okay.
A prison?
You see, let's see. This is area 3. There are this room is pretty empty. There is a pair of latched wooden gates. And in those gates are 2 wolves. So I'll go ahead and put a little token through those out. Yeah, two wolves. They both snarl as they see you. I would say, knowing Malachi, specifically with wolves, I think Malachi would want to probably unlatch those and not leave them here to burn alive.
Same.
I mean, either that or I'm going to shoot him in the head.
I feel like Malachi, if you know, way back at that first like cave in Fendelver, was I think he'd probably want to let him go. I feel this is on brand. I'm just gonna have him do. Let's see. What's his animal handling? Let me look that up real quick.
No idea.
I can look it up.
Well, damn.
God.
It's like at least a +4 because of wisdom, I think. At least. I don't know if he's efficient though.
My campaigns. Go to view campaign. Go to Malachi. Malachi, as we load, has an animal handling of +5. So all of that together equals a 12. So,
I can also frighten them with my Feywild presence. What the fuck is it called?
Sure.
Like if that does.
Yeah, go. You want to use
Run
it?
away.
What's the?
It's like a wisdom save, I think. I'm trying to find it. Fey presence. Each creature in 10-foot cube to make a wisdom saving throw, become charmed or frightened by you, your choice, until the end of your next turn.
What's the
Plus
DC?
Forest. 14.
One rolled the 13 and one rolled the 15, and they have a +1. So it's 14 and 16.
Kind of hilarious, actually.
I was gonna say that. I mean, they're just wolves. It's what. I'm gonna say Malachi gets out of it with a few extra, like, kind of scrapes and stuff on his armor. Most of them probably wouldn't even get through since it's plate. But I'm gonna say, like, they kind of fight a little bit, but I'm gonna say Malachi can kind of just, you know, brute force just get him out of there and set him free out in the open. So it's a little bit of a fight, but I'm gonna say it happens. They're out as they go running off down the pathway outside.
Alrighty then. Good work, boys.
So you leaving? More and more, like the wall behind this burning cart has now started to catch.
Oh yeah, it's go time.
Okay. You all work your way back out to the stockyard, out the gate, leaving the premises of Grudhaug. In the back, like back behind you, you can see there's a column of smoke that is beginning to rise, and once more you hear a gong from the watchtower as you all leave. Guz dead.
We fucking got him, boys.
Crane has not said a word as we've left. Completely silent.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It is finished. You head back towards your airship? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You make it back. You find the captain. She lets you aboard, and she says, "I kind of gestures at this growing column of smoke in the distance." She goes, "I take it that's a good sign."
Yeah.
It's like, well, great job again. Honestly, I figured if cloud giants were within your wheelhouse, hill giants wouldn't prove a problem either. So,
Not anymore.
11, 22.
Where to?
I know Malachi wanted to go back to the Oracle, but I think it's been a week, and he's saying
The
that.
amount of time it would take to get back there, it would be past 10 days.
Yeah.
I only go back to Yartar.
After the training, yeah.
Even if you did make it to the Oracle on time, there wouldn't be much time left, and then there'd be excavation and just trying to find Harshnag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just go buy like 15 pickaxes. It's fine.
So you
Mm-hmm.
want to go back to Yartar?
Yeah.
Captain says, "Oh, all right, back to Yartar then. Sure, we can do that." And it begins to move its way back north towards Yartar. We'll do a quick little travel skip. I think it was not too terribly far to Yartar. I think it's just like a couple days travel. And you find your way back to the city, the kind of the growing city that's a corner of it still looks a little run down, but much of it it's honestly starting to look kind of like a sprawling urban area with tall buildings and relatively well fortified walls. You're back to Yartar.
Are we level 9 now?
Yes. After the den, you are all level 9. Welcome to it.
Fucking neat.
Yes, plus 7 initiative.
Enjoy.
Alrighty then.
So, you are back to Yartar. They let you down. They'll park outside. They've already, not too long ago, restocked on supplies. So they're just like, well, we'll stay here with your skeleton friends. Oh, actually, important note. You can't hold up. I have been remiss in something.
Oh, fuck. There's a giant.
You come back with an undead giant.
Yes.
I forgot about this. This is not just something
It's in the north.
the people on the ship are just like, oh, isn't that neat?
Yes, it's quite neat.
It's pretty neat.
So as you approach the ship,
Wait a fucking minute. I have a plus 13 in stealth.
Fucking what?
so as you approach the ship, I'm gonna say I'll reverse this just a little, rewind just a little bit. There's a ballista pointed right at Sansuri.
Ugh.
Hello.
Bad or not?
Matter of fact, they would see that. What's the range on a ballista?
A lot, probably.
It's pretty high. Cause I'm like, basically what I'm trying to figure out is, are they gonna notice all of you around her?
Are they just gonna see?
Given the
fucking
range,
giant,
okay,
be like,
so
"Oh,
the
shit."
range is 100 to 300 feet. You guys are 300 feet off. They've got some. I'm gonna say we'll roll a perception check. See. Okay, that's not terrible. Yes, they see you alongside it. The ballista's trained on her still. It just didn't fire. So... You all... Okay. So you come to the ship. Captain looks out and says... That's,
Okay.
I recognize that one.
So you know how he's got the little skeletons?
I was wondering why you threw her overboard, and...
That's just a big one.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about.
So, question: How
Yes,
are we
it's a very
getting?
powerful asset.
How are we getting that thing on the ship?
It can lay back down on the ship like it was when it was a body.
And it's gonna be okay with that?
It doesn't have any free will.
I don't know how necromancy works.
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay.
I think it's fine. What?
I'm sorry, we're just a little jaded. This has been the norm for a while.
Roll a whoever wants it, roll a persuasion check with advantage since you're all kind of running around.
18.
Okay. She asks, is there any way to like deactivate it?
No?
You don't have a way to like say if this thing gets out of control to shut it down.
Why would it ever get out of control?
Yes, he does.
What do you mean?
I'm lying through my fucking teeth. I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, stop saying things!
So after some hemming and hawing and some more dirty
Unhappiness.
some more dirty looks.
We're
And
gonna have a fucking mutiny one of these days.
And one of like the crew members being like, okay, the rest of the skeletons, but this, and she's just like, if Clouth didn't tell us to do it, I'd be out of this deal days ago.
That's not
so-
nice.
But yes, with that persuasion roll, you eventually convince them to let her on board. It's kind of an awkward process. They kind of like have to get really low to the ground. She kind of like climbs up, and the whole ship kind of rocks, and you hear some uncomfortable kind of shouts, and she kind of lies down on the edge of the ship there, and she's just like, all right, very well, back to Yartar. So now you're all back in Yartar. The crew is not happy about being left with this undead giant on board, or this undead army that accompanies it.
It's fine.
However,
Fine.
you're back to Yartar. What would you like to do?
I wish to go and purchase arrows.
What do we say? It was 1 gold per 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many you need? This is a pretty big town, so you should be able to find it. That being said, there is a limit. It's just relatively high.
Probably around like 200.
200 arrows.
Yeah.
Roll an investigation check for me. I know you're good at it.
I'm actually incredibly good at it.
Yeah, but
Plus
roll one.
9.
Roll one for me.
25.
25. He's fine. Okay. You don't get them all from one place, because one place is not going to sell you 200 arrows.
Rude.
So...
Arrow seller. I'm going into battle.
Arrow seller. I need your strongest arrows. So, yes. Scouring the town a little bit, we'll say you're doing this while Crane's off doing his thing. Because this is going to take a little bit to find it, but you do find it.
10 gold.
Yeah, that's 10 gold for 200 arrows, yeah. Arrows aren't supposed to be a big deal, but
Yeah, that's fair.
when you need 200 of them, I'm like, you have to at least try a little bit to find that kind of, you know.
That is a lot of
Skeletons can
arrows.
just
We
make
need the backpack skeleton.
It's fine.
So anyway, yes, you find it. It might take a few trips delivering crates. One place you order so many of them, they're willing to deliver it for you, so you get like half of them taken care of that way, and then the rest you find boxes here and there. And eventually you cobble together your 200 arrows. So that's what Ethan's doing. Crane, we'll get to you. Moyer and Yarl. Is there anything in particular you're wanting to do while you're here in town?
Maybe seeing like if there's any like charities or like funds for like to help with slums at all, like new housing districts or anything like that. Funds for that.
Don't fuck with my dudes.
Look, man.
Okay.
Trying to be a helpful guy here.
So you're looking for like a charitable organization or somebody working on like.
Yeah, or maybe if there's like if they're like trying to fund like new housing districts in that area. Like...
Oh, there's plenty of new housing and things going up, but a lot of it's been buying out who's already there.
Ah.
So if you're looking to help people keep their, you're looking to help people keep their houses in the lesser areas, that might be something you could look into.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, let's do a roll. What kind of roll?
One of them.
I'm gonna say, with Crane's knowledge of the area, finding who to talk to would be relatively easy. Which, Crane, are there any particular, do you have anything you would imagine? It's your hometown. Anything you imagine that would be along the lines of what Yarl's talking about? Otherwise, I can just fill in with whatever.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just fill you in on something. This town is corrupt as shit, and it's filled to the brim with Zhentarim.
Not just Centaur.
Shady people. Giving a lot of something to a person, even if they're the face of an organization, probably not a good idea. If you actually wanted to affect them, you should go out and give it to them personally. Or go talk to the mayor. The guy really hasn't given a shit about the town since I was alive.
Okay, that's understandable. That's unfortunate, but understandable.
The town's made a lot of headway since I've been here. I mean, these slums used to be... The town used to... Yeah.
From what you remember, it was more like there was a nice corner of the town, and then there was the rest of the town. That's kind of
a nice corner instead of a bad corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of been flipped.
See.
Oh, you go give to one of the churches.
So, I'm gonna say, and Crane, you do know that what you said is true. There's plenty of shady individuals in this city. There are a few here and there that are generally upstanding sorts, doing the best they can with what limited resources they have. I'm gonna say you could definitely direct Yarl to one of these.
Yeah, I mean, most likely like a priest or something, probably.
Yeah. There's a couple priests, people who are kind of like almost seem like they don't really fit in. I mean, they're people who are trying to preach a word nobody wants to hear. Like, sort of just like, there's things like that for sure. I would say there's an old man who's done like offers to help people around the kind of around the slums, counseling when they need it, or just just an ear to listen to, things of that nature. How much gold are you wanting to give?
I have a fuck ton of gold. Holy shit. We'll go with like 200, I guess.
Okay. Now roll a persuasion check.
Oh no.
Because in this town, when somebody comes up to you and offers you a large chunk of money, that's not always a good thing. Matter of fact, that's usually not a good thing.
That's fair. Okay, persuasion. Alright, yeah. Fucking be persuaded.
Like Crane's own dad knows for a fact that if somebody's offering you money, it's not usually no strings attached.
It is a 14.
Okay. They'll accept 50 of it.
Unfortunate, but understandable, I suppose.
They'll accept 50 of it, and they're very and then like they're like, he's like, I this is already more money than I think I have ever possessed, but I will make sure this goes to good use. I hope you're not you seem like an out-of-towner. Things are just complicated here, and while money is helpful, it has its problems.
I've heard. It's an unfortunate situation, but
it's like there's good folk. It's just the bad ones are usually louder. So, yes, no problem. You can hand off 50 gold. As he begins to talk about a number of places he knows, families whose roofs could use some work. This last summer had a lot of rainfall to it, and some of these houses don't look so good. There's a few he knows that are struggling with food, and things of that nature. But you feel like they'll probably go to good use.
Yeah, if there's any like people I can help too throughout the day, I'd probably want to do that too. Just either if it's working with him or like someone that I see like in need
I
of
mean,
help
and you've already you have mending?
Yeah, I have mending, meditation.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're looking for that, he's like handyman too, I guess. Oh yeah, of course. There's plenty of things that could be fixed. Many of these people won't trust you, but I can go with you, and we can work something out. So if you're wanting to, yeah, you can spend plenty of time could be spent
just helping people.
Oh yeah. Like, and lots of fixing roofs, lots of, I mean, a lot like at Crane's dad's house, cracked windows, just generally cleaning up the place. It's not covered in, like a thick layer of dirt or moss or any, like, just all sorts of things that you could do. And as I think Crane's gonna be here for a little bit, but as kind of like the day goes on, people start to hear it, like in this little corner of Yartar, people start to hear about you, and then you notice some of them are kind of watching what you do, kind of amazed by this, like the work you're doing, and eventually people start like saying like, oh well, this this old chair here is giving out on me, and like people just kind of start bringing like you first start kind of going house to house, but eventually you kind of find yourself into like the middle of like this little like cul-de-sac of rundown houses as people just bring out old broken down stuff that you kind of, fix up, reinforce, clean up. Old family heirlooms that have seen better days. I mean, all sorts of stuff. As
I'm totally happy to help.
yeah, as this strange sight. I mean, so many of them are distrusting of you. Just seeing this strange, lanky, blue-skinned, masked, feathered figure, they're like, what? But yeah, no, it get a lot of work done. Make a bit of a name for yourself in this tiny little corner of Yartar. Moyer!
Not even the intention, but alrighty then.
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
There's nothing really in particular I want to do, so I guess I'll go help carry arrows, since he doesn't have the skeleton crew.
Sure.
Ah!
Arrow Boy.
Sure.
It's like Water Boy, except fucking Arrow Boy.
Sure.
Another skeleton added to the crew.
Part of the crew.
Wait.
Alright, Crane.
Alright.
Where do you go?
Well, I'm taking the jade flower pot,
Mhm.
and I'm going to go to the underground ring to
Sure.
see if.
You going to Barney's?
Yeah.
Totally legit alchemy shop. All sorts of salves and other things that are
I want to buy a few
100
potions of hitting.
100% will fix whatever you think ails you. So, yeah, you find your way back, work your way downstairs. Within short order, you can find Amity again. And as she sees you, she kind of smiles, and again, I mean, under here in the underground fighting arena, there's not a whole lot of days off. Right? Somebody, any given day, somebody's willing to fight somebody. So it's always like it's pretty rare that this place dies down. I mean, it can in the later hours. Sometimes it dies down. Other times that's like like rush hour traffic. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. But you walk down here, you see a couple people. It's actually quieter than you've seen it in a while. Like you haven't been here in a while, but quieter than usual. There's only like 20 people down here. So she sees you, and she says like, "Wow, what is that? Twice within a week? Gonna get me spoiled now."
Well, I went and destroyed the hill giant den.
Did you? The whole thing?
The whole thing. Burned.
I know you did this out of some sort of personal vendetta. I don't blame you, but it actually does a lot of good for the surrounding area. I mean, the hill giants weren't always this. I mean, they would steal sometimes cows and food and things like that, but there were never this many raids and further into the cities and that widespread until this Chief Guh came along. And I take it she's no more?
Burned with the fire.
Wow. Fantastic. Done a lot of good today. Or whatever day you did it.
Feels good.
So, you back for a little bit of training?
That, and I'm here to pawn this off, and I pull out the jade flower pot.
Mm-hmm. Which has been prestidigitation, so it's,
Not disgusting.
Yeah, even so, she's kind of like, gets a hold of it, she's got like a little, well, I've had worse submitted to me.
It was in her fat folds.
That is, well, whoever we pawn this off to doesn't need to know that.
Right.
She's like, well, I mean, this is a pretty decent chunk of jade here. I mean, I can give you 750 gold.
Perfect.
It's like, yeah, no problem. Is there any other large stash? Do I need to do another chest to the?
No, that was it.
Because this is I can do this. This is manageable. And so you receive your 750 gold. She's like, well, I hope that you found what you were looking for.
Yeah. Thought I'd feel better, but
That's usually the way it goes. I've seen it 1,000 times. However, like I said, at least you know you did some good. Outside of just bringing down this loathsome individual.
fairly cathartic.
It's always nice. So, I have someone for you to meet.
Oh, do you?
I do. I'm not going to train you.
Right.
She's like, I haven't worked in the field in years. I'd be very rusty.
Right.
That being said, I do know my way around a dagger relatively well, but you know, upper management and all that.
Yeah, cubicle work.
It's like, let me tell you, you think the Zentarum are any better with bureaucratic bullshit? They're not. It's still there.
No, but I feel like you get to stab more people than the average royal family.
Oh, of course. You know. Well, let me take it to him. And at the edge of this fighting ring, there's a little bit of a crowd watching, and with a little chair pulled up next to a little table, with just like a bottle of ale and just a flagon sitting next to it. You see a man. He's one of those people. He's hard to place, like age-wise. Like, he looks relatively young, but at the same time seems like he's probably older than he looks. He's clean shaven, got close cut, kind of like dark hair, but it's pretty much just shaved. You don't see any sort of tattoo markings on him or anything. He just kind of looks just like a plain dude. Very, very business. Stands a little bit taller than you, although even that, he's not terribly tall. Especially being around people like Malachi, you're all giants. And he looks to you and he's just like, well, first he looks to Amity, as he's watching this fight down below, and he's just like, you know, I expected a bit more. You know? She's like, well, they're not all great that come down here. We vet them. She's like, you know, we've had some of our best fighters have come from the ring. Crane here got his start back in the day. Right here.
They call me Ballsbane.
He kind of chuckles. He chuckles at that. He's just like, so you're not concerned with honor and all of that, I take it.
Would I be here if I was?
Kind of nods, takes a sip, and he's just like, good. He's like, honor and all that gets killed. I don't know why honor is good to you if you're dead. So, I take it this is the one then? She's like, this is the one. Says, Crane, I want you to meet Tom. I don't think Tom's his real name, but that's what he goes by.
All right, Tom. Good to meet you.
He kind of looks you up and down, and he says, like kind of. Actually, I'll have to do a little roll here. Okay. He kind of looks you up and down. And he's just like, I think I already have an idea of what you're all about. Kind of see the way you step. 2 short swords on your side there. Bow, and then one more check just to see. And then I actually rolled for this, and he rolled extremely well. He kind of like he gives you a keen, like your leather armor. He gives it a keen look, and he just says, got a strange little bump right there. Pretty well hidden.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, of course you wouldn't. So, Crane, how long are you here in town?
I wasn't planning on staying for very long, but as
Well,
long as needed.
I can give. I mean, within a couple days, if you're as good as Amity here says, I can teach you a thing or two. However, you're gonna have to pick because if we're on a time crunch here, there's only so much you can fit in a short amount of time. So, Crane, would you like to learn? Let me pull up. Okay, so you have two options here. Would you like to learn another way to gain sneak attack? Yeah. Would you like to another way to gain sneak attack? Or would you like to focus on learning strengths and weaknesses of your opponent?
I like the strengths and weaknesses more.
Okay, sure. He's like, very well. He's like, I'm particularly good at sizing up my opponent. Even some of the best trained always have a tell. They have tendencies, they have patterns, and I can teach you how to exploit that. So,
Sounds good.
for the next couple of days, you can receive training on analyzing your opponent. Basically, the way that this works is you can use your bonus action to. I'm gonna get a more concrete writing
Yeah.
on this, but you can use your bonus action to make a perception check against an enemy. And it'll be a contested roll versus their deception. And if you roll high enough, you can learn either damage resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities, or one saving throw.
Okay.
So you get to take your pick. And when you learn like the damage stuff, that's all three. Like you'll learn resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities, all of that. Or you can pick a saving throw. So, yeah. So you get a little bit of extra analysis there, using perception to kind of size up your opponent. And as you train, basically this Tom fellow, who you kind of spar back and forth, and he is skilled. He is very skilled, and you do notice. I mean, he spotted the hidden knife underneath your leather armor. I mean, and it's not like it's obvious. I mean, he's extreme. That's his thing. That's what he does. And you find out he's got you figured out within short order. And as you kind of spar with him, it seems like he knows what you're gonna do before you do. And basically, he starts to kind of teach you about. Says you're focused too much on the immediate. You're too much in the moment. You don't think about your next step enough. And that's what he begins to teach you, is to begin thinking in advance and to analyze what your opponent's doing rather than just immediately gut instinct reacting, which is kind of how Crane's been doing. So, yeah. All right. So, that'll be about 2 days or so. So, Yarl, if you're doing the same thing the next day,
Oh yeah.
I mean, day 2, the crowd's already there. There's all. I mean, whenever it's time for you all to leave, you go and you find Yarl, and he's just surrounded by people with all sorts of just household items and all these other things. You apparently he's fixed near all the roofs on the block. I mean, he's been working pretty hard in the last couple days. Is there anything else anybody wanted to get done, or is this pretty much just whatever?
Maybe with the priest is willing to accept more money now that I've like kind of proven myself.
Sure. Yeah, he'd accept another 50.
All right, that's fine. I'll take it.
So,
Doing my
No, he'll
good.
take it.
So I'm gonna help out with like maintenance and stuff on the ship, but I'd also like to keep a lookout on how they kind of operate it, maybe.
sure. Yeah, trying to learn how the differences between flying an airship versus sailing a regular ship.
Mm-hmm.
That is fine. There's actually, I believe, there's a specific role for this.
Whoa, ain't that shit nifty?
Well, I mean, they're like, here's an airship piloted by other people. Of course, your group's gonna know, like, can I fly it? They're like, no, we know.
And dragon worshippers is that, and you're like, huh, that's probably not good. Dragons don't tend to be good, at least when they're.
All right. Where I think is it just an intelligence or? Hang on, there's that. Okay. Where's the part that specifically says this? There's a specific part for this, and I'm trying to find it. I'm under the airship.
I hid it from you.
Oh, how dare you? First of all.
That's
Second off,
very accurate.
rude.
That's
okay.
not fair.
Okay. Yeah, intelligence check. Moyer.
Straight.
I'm gonna say with advantage because some of it, since it is a ship, some of it just comes to you more intuitively. There are some similarities and some big differences.
Well, no, I suppose I want it. I was gonna ask if I get my proficiency bonus because I'm proficient in sea vessels, but it's an air vessel, so.
Alright, so I'm gonna give you advantage for your background.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to take your proficiency instead, you can. I'll let you do either or.
No, it's fine. 18.
18. Okay, yeah. Over the next day or so, and you're studying as they, and asking a few questions here and there. Yeah, you feel like you have a generally good idea, about how to run it. You do know that while you could probably make up like nobody else knows what they're doing. And you could make up for a lot of that through directing. You may want like maybe at least one other person who knows what's going on or whatever. Like you could potentially get this thing moving in a pinch, but over an extended trip, there might be some challenges there.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, you get a general understanding of how it works. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
So, anything else?
I think so.
During like downtime or something, Crane is going to go talk to his dad.
Sure. Yeah, you stop by his house. Doesn't appear he's there. So you go over to the smith where he works. And you can see him there. It's actually after hours a little bit. You see him working on some stuff. No one else is really there. It seems like it's just him there, and you can kind of see him working on something. Got his back turned to you.
I'm just gonna say loudly, I'm just like, I destroyed the hill giant den.
There's a little bit of a startle, and then a pause. He turns around. He's like, "Did you?"
Yeah, burned it to the ground. Well, it was already in the ground, but you get it.
That's. And he kind of eyes you. He's like, "That's good. Do a lot to stop the raids around here. How are you?"
not bad.
Well, I don't know if I entirely believe that, but hey.
I'm going to stop the ordning, and there's a pretty good chance I'll die.
Kind of like drops his head for a bit. And he looks up to you, and he says, I think I spent most of my time during our interactions together all those years before you left. I think I spent most of my time trying to tell you what you couldn't do. And I think I've learned from that lesson, so I'm not going to try to do it again. But I mean, what was your goal when you set out? Was it to stop this on this large scale? I mean, you took down the hill giant. What's in it? Why the rest of this? I've seen your group. They're a strange lot. Some of them, I don't know, look to, I don't know, what kind of magic, the voodoo. I don't know anything about all of that. But you look to me just like we're regular humans.
I think, for the first time, I found people who were passionate about what they wanted to do. And if I left, it'd be the same as dying.
Kind of chuckles to himself. He's just like, man, I'm worried about you. Obviously. But I think I see what you're saying. Yeah. You know why I named you Crane?
No, I don't think I ever asked.
It's an old story. And supposedly the crane was a sign of good luck. You know, I didn't have the best childhood. So I hoped that yours would be better. So I gave you that name with hopes that maybe some of that good luck would rub off on you. Sorry to say, I don't think it did one bit of difference.
I think one thing I've learned is that we make our own luck.
Be safe. As much as you can be when you're fighting fucking giants.
They're pretty big. Like really big.
I've never seen one up close. So I wouldn't fully appreciate it, but I believe you. You're called giants. It's kind of a giveaway. Right. Well, do your best to come back. You know. And,
I don't know what I'll do if I do, but I will.
Well, that's its own story, isn't it? First things first. You gotta make it out of this whole ordeal alive.
Whole ord?
No, I don't. Hardy har. No, I'm proud of you. I think it's honestly the first time I could honestly say that for about 20 years.
I would like to be mad at you, but you know what? You're probably damn right.
He's like, look, I know I wasn't perfect either. I'm past judging at this point. Well, great hero. If you do make it out alive, write me a fucking letter, will you?
I'll do you one better. Bring spoils of war back home.
As long as it's less than a year or more, I'll take it.
And with that, I'm gonna take my leave.
All right. You walk out of the smith. Yeah, He's staying behind, he's staring off at the wall, kind of chuckling on, and like just barely under his breath, you can just hear him kind of just say, "My son, the Giant Slayer. Who'd have fucking think?" So, there you are. So, after a couple days, many houses have been fixed. Many heirlooms been cleaned up. Moyer has a good understanding of how the ship runs and thinks he could run it in a pinch. Although for more extended journeys, it would take a bit. There'd be a bit of instruction needed, as you know, it's going to take a couple more hands who know what they're doing. And Crane, you have now finished your bit of training. You're pretty quick. You pick up on it pretty quickly. And you feel like you only get better at it as time goes on. So yeah. Just as a note for now, you can use a bonus action to perception check and learn either damage resistances and vulnerability, or resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities, or pick a saving throw.
Okay.
So. All right. Now, what do you guys do?
Do we have any last minute preparations before we use the conch?
You know that these conches teleport you.
Exactly.
And you don't know where. Not exactly. You have an idea of what the place you're aiming for is. You're muted, by the way, Tyler. Just in case you did.
That's the thing. There's two things we haven't done from way back in the beginning. That's take harness to Nothinar's hold. Evolution of Giants.
No, you did the harnesses to Nothinar's
Yeah.
hold. That's where you met.
Okay.
That's where you met the skeletal wraith
the
riders.
Oh,
That's where you met them. So you did that part.
okay. Then we haven't warned Everloon of Giants. Might be a bit too late.
I mean, Everland's where you found. No, Everland's where you found the teleportation circles.
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah, that was in Everland. Where the half-orc bartender gave you all a drink of this wine, and then you all teleported most unexpectedly. He thought it was hilarious. But yeah, and you let them know how far the giant attacks had traveled.
That might have been it.
Yeah.
Never mind. I have nothing else.
Okay. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want, anything you want to stock up on, or whatever, anything you have in mind, now's the time to do it. Because who knows what happens when you teleport? You might be back. You might be gone for a while. I mean, who knows?
Fair.
Matter of fact, how about this? I have to take a leak. So how about this is where we call it a break while people think about anything they'd like to do before the conscious.
Should we wait for Frank in case
No,
he
I
wants
think-
to do something?
I'm gonna say I'll give him a chance to kind of retroactively be like, I would have done this. I'll give him a chance to do that. But I think we can continue. So I'll be right back.
Alright.
Okay. The only
Aside
thing,
from like trying to find magic items to purchase, because we do have a fuck ton of gold. Like I still have over 1,000.
I was gonna look for just fucking magic items. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we can go to some big town or something.
I mean, this is a pretty big town.
Yeah.
I already looked though. Last time we were here.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And we also see if our Zentarum connections could get us something.
Yeah. The only thing I might need is maybe a Mastiff for a mount. I don't know. I don't know about that, because I feel like it's just gonna die in the first fight, but...
Probably.
We're fighting like giants.
Yeah, it has like
Yeah.
14 health, so
Also, I've had to switch out like all of my fucking spells because like some of them were like con check, con check. I'm like, oh yeah, giants are probably good at that, aren't they? So I've just been going through like switching out all my fucking spells. Let's see. Like, I mean, obviously, a ring of spell soaring would be fucking amazingly useful.
yeah, what we're waiting on stuff too.
Perhaps. Let me think.
Like for this turn to get us stuff. I think a ring of spell storing was one of them.
Maybe. You might be right, actually. Yeah. I'm gonna be right back real quick.
Like food? Maybe. No, she's making sure. Under. Under.
Hmm?
Dude. Rock Fonda.
Oh. So you guys can teleport 16 people.
Oh.
And so there's the 5 of you. There's Sansuri. So 6 plus 11 skeletons. So 17.
I don't know, we're going to leave one.
So you had one that was in the bag of holding, like a pile of bones still in the bag of holding.
Mhm.
So you could just leave it in there and bring it with you. I think that's an option. Now that I know that the space inside the bag of holding is a 4x4x4, oh, like fitting a skeletons in there, like pretty soon you kind of have to break them down.
4x4x4.
I mean, how broken can skeletons be before you raise them?
I mean, as long as he's got a pile of bones.
Wait.
I mean, like, can we grind them up into like dust? And
No, dust wouldn't do it. I would
It's magic, man.
I would say dust is a little beyond.
Dust.
I
Wait, 4x4x4.
think that's what the inside of the bag of holding was.
We have stuff in there too.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
does it actually say?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It just says that the volume can't exceed 64 cubic feet.
So that's a 4x4x4 then.
Yeah, it says roughly 2 feet in diameter at the mouth.
That's going into
Oh,
it,
yeah. I don't think it.
not the actual space.
So,
But
this so 60. Wait, 64.
cubic feet.
Wait, that's not
Yeah.
because 4.
That's what I'm
16,
saying. Like what you're saying
16
doesn't
times
make
4. No, okay, that's not quite enough. Because 16, 4, that would be 64. No, that is right. Because it's 4 feet tall
Huh?
by width by depth.
sense.
So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64.
It's 478 gallons.
That's a lot of gallons.
It is a lot of gallons.
So anyway, so yeah, it's about a 4x4x4 then.
Side question. Yeah, it's 4x4.
Okay. So, I mean, a skeleton can crouch down in that. It'd be a little tough, you know. Maybe some of this, like pick a smaller one, could probably crouch down inside of it. But like any more than that, you kind of have to start like breaking them down into like their bones, like just a pile. I think. But yeah, especially with all the extra stuff that's in there right now. So. All right. So you have enough to get everybody in a pile of bones with the bag of holding.
Whoa.
So, was there anything else anybody wanted to do?
I'm not leaving anything, right?
Do what?
We have enough to teleport 14 people, right?
16.
16.
Teleportation, I think, teleports 8 people. I do believe. So you could even bring along your massive undead giant.
Let's see.
Let's see. Teleportation. Let me take a quick look.
I'm sorry. I need to get a drink.
That's teleportation circle. Which there's teleport and there's teleportation circle. Yeah. Okay, so you and up to 8. So actually it's 9.
Ah,
So yeah, you guys are good. So technically you have 18 between the two. Because whoever is casting it is 1, and then there's 8 on top of that.
Shit, let's go make another skeleton, boys.
I mean, Ethan would always be down for more skeletons, but you know.
or mastiff.
So, are you guys going to do anything else, or what?
I mean, if there's the room.
What do you mean?
I mean, I would have during these days. I would that skeleton back.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can have the skeleton back. He's also a little busted up, but you know, him and Terry can bond over getting smashed to pieces.
Question.
Though Terry had it a little bit worse.
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
So, what are the chances I'm able to find another +1 short sword in the Artar?
Flying boat.
If you talk to Amity, she can procure one for you, but that'd be a few days.
It's not that big of an upgrade for me. Fuck that.
I'm like, it'd be a few days.
Yeah, that's.
So,
Yeah, no.
okay. Alrighty then. You doing it?
I think so.
So,
Where-
the captain...
the-
Do what?
Yeah. Okay. I think you're about to answer my question, so it's
I
good.
say the captain is looking over. He's like, "All right, well, where do we to next?" I take it you were, and I think that the conches have come up at some point. She's like, so you needed these to access something?
It'll teleport us to, I think the Oracle said Hecaton's court?
She
Yeah.
says, oh, you mean like the King Hecaton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she's like, I mean, that's okay. Yeah. I don't. There's like, she's like, there's a moment where you kind of see she's trying to like hide her relief as she's glancing over at all these skeletons that are soon to be off of her boat.
Maybe we should leave one to guard then.
It's just like, no, you might need all of them. You know, storm giants I hear are you know, at the top for a reason. She's like,
Yeah,
well,
sure.
I guess good luck. I know that your Malachi here has a way of contacting us. So if you're still looking to take down, deal with this giant problem, then I suppose we should be able to come help you out. So, good luck wherever it is you're going. Hopefully it's somewhere close. I mean, airship can travel pretty far, but I guess, it might take a while if you're too far away.
Fair. But altogether,
Across the world.
yeah.
Alright.
Are we using it?
Are you using it?
I
Do
guess
the
so.
roar.
Alright. So, one person gets one conch, one person gets the other conch. If you take enough time to attune to it, you know how to use it. There's not like some big, roll or whatever for using it. It's just whoever feels like using one and then the other. And
I'll let the magic users do it.
sure. I mean, Malachi had one.
Party wizard.
Yeah, and so essentially, Malachi raises the conch kind of to his mouth. He blows into it, kind of like this trumpet. There's this low kind of foghorn sound that emanates deep and resonant from the conch as the rune on it begins to glow. And you all have teleported before. It's a very similar, it's a familiar sensation. As the world around you kind of starts to blur, and then instantly you are just like, you feel like you've been just yanked out of one spot and shoved into a new one. Let me go ahead and change some stuff over. I got the wrong music up for this. So, you find yourself inside. You're standing on top of this rune that's been painted on the ground in yellow, some sort of yellow dye. And you look around you. Let me go ahead and jump to that chapter as we are now moving on to the next chapter.
We leveled up when we went to the court, right?
It's a
No.
fun experience.
So, you find yourself
It is an eye-opening experience, though.
You find yourself in this chamber. You have this chamber is kind of rough hewn. It looks like it's made of rock. The walls have like this moisture to them. Moyer, I would say instantly upon entering this, you just this familiar smell in the air of salt water. You know it very well. It brings back a lot of memories for you. The walls have bioluminescent lichen on them. Everything's got kind of like a bluish tint here. There's a large pool of water in the corner of this chamber. And you hear there's no one immediately in this area, but you do hear music and you hear this powerful female voice that's being accompanied by the deep, haunting tones of a masterfully played pipe organ. The music is coming from this spiral staircase that leads upward. Yeah, and so you have 2 hallways. One on your left side, leading out of this little chamber you got here. A couple doors down there, and on the other side as well. Both sides have a couple of doors. And then statues are on the ends of... there are these massive, you imagine to be life-size stone statues of giants. On the end of one hallway is a female storm giant holding a harp and wearing a gown of purple coral. On the other side, you see a very large statue of a male storm giant who's got this large trident in his hands. Also, there's a little alcove that kind of, like this little pathway that it's not very far in, but you see it kind of opens up this little side room where there's another pool of water there, and it seems steam is rising from it, some sort of hot spring or something like that. And that is what you see.
The woman statue looks nicer, so let's go to the mean one first.
Okay.
Because I don't trust women.
But so you have pool of water in the corner. You have another little pool of water through a little pathway, some sort of hot spring. 2 hallways and a staircase going upwards that you can tell that's where the music's coming from. So,
Are we underwater?
I mean, you're in a cave, like structure carved of. I mean, it's massive. It's obvious giants walk through here. I mean, it's hard to say, but you think it might be possible.
Very uncomfortable. Got you.
Like I said, you do. I mean, you would know the smell of salt water anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you are not mistaken. You're at least near the ocean. So
should we go find the music?
if you guys want to go explore the hallways or whatever you want to do, go up the stairs, pools of water, whatever you feel like doing.
We're just gonna talk to someone, right? Just might as well just go find the person.
I'm okay with that. We're in a very new place.
By the way, either Nero or Ethan are gonna have to talk.
Yeah.
Anything.
Ah, fuck. You're right.
Oh, does Moira not speak giant either?
Well, to be fair, the other storm giants they probably actually know common. So how the cloud
That's fair.
giants knew common. Hell, I think even the fire giants did. So like, I assume a storm.
When you fought the fire giants, you heard them speak to each other in giant, but you didn't hear them speak common. They might have known it. You're not
They
sure.
seem intelligent.
Okay.
Oh, their intelligence as to whether they could know common, that wasn't really in question.
I thought they understood something we said, but I might have just been misremembered because it has been a fucking while.
It's been a
since we
minute
fought.
since Tribor. Yeah. You guys have come a long way.
This ain't Tribor.
No, it effing ain't.
Alright.
Oh yeah, and I will say,
Let's go find the music.
yeah, and as you begin to walk, you do notice that there are, actually a surprising number of living things here. You see a couple crabs that kind of scutter across the floor. You see a couple barnacles up in certain areas of the walls, and even a starfish or two, particularly near that pool of water. Yeah. So you go to walk up the spiral staircase.
Yeah.
All right. So you travel up the staircase to the next floor. Let me make sure I know exactly where you guys are coming from. So you're coming from here, and you're going up to here. Okay, yep.
Imperative.
You enter this large hall. The music fills this hall, and this massive room is split into 2 levels. There's a 15-foot high raised ledge that hugs the walls to the north and to the east. There's gently sloping ramps that lead up to it, so there's these little ledges there. The acoustics here are excellent. There's barnacle-covered pillars of hewn rock that rise to meet the vaulted ceiling, and there's a huge crystal window that allows in some light and casts beautiful patterns on the walls. Real quick, Moyer, you look out that window, and you see just blue out there. It doesn't look like sky. And you see like a shark swim past the window. You are under the ocean. You have no idea how far down.
Sick. Very cool.
Under this crystal window is this massive crab with colored nodules and hollowed flutes of beautiful coral growing out of its shell. Next to it, you see a giant, female, regal looking. She has very pale skin. She's wearing kind of a white gown with kind of white upswept hair. She almost looks a little cloud giant-y, but you can tell that she is not a cloud giant. And she is tapping with this little mallet, tapping on this crab, and as she does, like, musical notes will play from the corresponding like flute-like tubes coming out of this crab. Next to her is another storm giant woman. This one has long blue hair, purple skin, a very fine green dress. And in front of them in this great hall, there's all of these chairs, which are all like these massive like clam shells that form these chairs in this hall. And there are more giants sitting on these, listening to the performance. One of them, and you've seen these kind of giants before. You see a cloud giant. You see a fire giant. You see a frost giant. And you see one other type of giant that you have not seen yet. You take this to be a stone giant. Tall, as they all are, very lean, much more lithe than most of the giants tend to be. Dark gray skin, gems embedded in the skin. I mean, it basically looks like somebody took gems and placed them in carved rock. It almost looks like a statue, except that it moves. You have seen most of these giants before. You have never seen all of these kinds in one place. As you enter, the performance quickly comes to an end. As it comes to like this abrupt stop. As 2 more storm giants from the side like run up and kind of stand between you, and particularly between you and the 2 women. And they kind of hold out these large great swords. And take a ready stance against you. As they do, you kind of hear a voice in the back. Sounds like the one who was singing. Say, "No, wait. Let them speak. I'm curious as to what brings the small folk into our home." They kind of back up a little bit and part so that you can see, and the one speaking to you is the long blue-haired one. She's got kind of this haughty expression on her face as she looks at all of you and says, "It is not easy to come here. And as she speaks to you, she sees Sansuri come up the steps.
Fuck.
Forgot about that.
Oh.
The storm giants once again slam back together, holding the swords back out, and you just hear you can't even see her at this point, and you hear the voice from behind as they very quickly, because at first there's a moment of surprise, and then they realize that this is not living, breathing, fine and dandy Sansuri. And she says, "You would do best to speak, and to speak very quickly." At this point, you notice she swapped to common, just to make sure you all understand what she's saying. So yeah, she does understand common.
I'm going to
And she
take a
says,
step
"You
forward.
speak quickly."
We're here to restore the ordning.
Oh, really? And you plan to do that by murdering a cloud giant baron?
How do you think we got here?
Well, that would explain some things. Although, from where I stand, you look to be assassins. What are you doing here?
We want to root out the corruption in King Hecaton's court. We spoke to the Oracle.
The Oracle.
Yes.
You spoke to which Oracle?
The Eye of the Allfather.
And as you say this, there's a little bit of a murmur that goes throughout the chamber as these giant, that phrase means something to them, and there's a lot of surprise on their face as you say it. As you gather, like you hear a few of them, like those of you who speak giant hear the other giants kind of murmuring amongst themselves in giant. They say just like, how do they know? How do they know about the Eye of the Allfather? Nobody. They shouldn't know about that. They're like, did they really find it? Did they stumble upon it? Who led them to it? Kind of like, we'll talk about that. And
Okay.
you notice that the one that was playing like the crab thing, like the pale one, is like her eyes have been locked on your group this whole time, not really saying much, but there's just this cold, emotionless just stare, analyzing, like she's hard to get a read on. And she says, "So, you've come here to try to restore the ordering. I'll admit I'm impressed that you small folk would even know about the ordering or about what's happened to it. I suppose you've done some research. You say also you've talked to the Eye of the Allfather. This also is impressive, because most people don't even know it exists."
We were led there by Harshnag.
She's like, "I've heard of Harshnag. Heard stories. He's and one of, and you notice that the frost giant that was sitting over on the clamshells, like gets up to this, like, and speaks to all of you, and says, "You knew Harshnag."
We knew him. He perished in the eye.
His eye, like his eyes get real narrow. He's just like, "Harshnag was one of the greatest warriors the Frost Giants have ever known. Who could kill Harshnag?"
An ancient dragon.
Blue. Huge.
This sets off a whole new the talk of ancient blue dragons. They're not happy. The blue-haired one, or the dark blue hair, she looks to all of you and she's just like, "You've come here making a lot of claims. Tell me, how do you plan on going about this? Was there someone you you were seeking in this court, or did you just show up? Tell me, do you even know who's in charge here?
We were told Miron and Nim took the throne.
Well, as much as I wish that were true, I regret to say you have slightly bad information. It was not me or my sister. She nods over to the pale one. Like, no, our father saw fit to give the throne to our youngest sister. If you wish to talk to her, well, she's very busy right now and doesn't have time to see you.
Busy with what, a shattered ordning?
Yes, a matter of fact, exactly that. I don't know what you think you offer coming here, but we have guest chambers back down below. I can bring it before my sister and see if she wants to talk to you or not. Right now, she's in an important meeting dealing with the Shattered Ordning, yes. Which is a problem that I am sure that you could not even begin to understand the full extent of. Roll an insight check.
Also, I'm just saying.
Oh,
You're
that's
told
a
by the
wisdom.
Oracle that these two misled Hecaton? Just saying.
You were.
Oh, I know. That is
Alright. So I'll make sure we're all on the same page there.
15.
15? What she's saying makes sense to a degree. I mean, if this sister is running things, I mean, she may very well be busy. I mean, that's entirely possible. So you know that much. Beyond that, this just, I mean, she doesn't appear to be outright lying to you, but you don't trust her. You're not real, like, confident in... Something about her just seems like you keep an eye on her. But she doesn't appear to be lying to you. Something just makes you uneasy about her, though. She's just the way she looks down at you, you can tell she obviously thinks she's better than all of you. She thinks she's better than most giants, never mind non-giants.
I mean, to be fair, they could very easily kill us, so... It's not like we pose very much of a threat here.
Yeah, especially 4 of them.
There's 4 storm
and there's
giants.
a bunch of other giants.
And then the other...
And then a cloud, a frost, a fire, and a stone are in this room alone. You have come to the court of storm giants. The leaders, the top of the ordning, so... Yeah.
They're a little big.
Yeah, and you know, these storm giants, I mean, some of them stand 24 feet tall. I mean, the shortest one you could find is still over 20. They still, the closest ones to them are the cloud giants, but even they stand a little bit taller than cloud giants by a little bit. So, yeah, so Miron, the one talking to you, nods to the guard, says, take them down to the chambers, the guest quarters. Make sure they don't go wandering around. He says, Nim and I will go talk to our sister and see what she wants to do about it. After all, she's the one in charge. And the storm giant guards begin to kind of to usher you back down the stairs.
Man, I really wonder why she wasn't chosen to be, the leader. I have no idea whatsoever. No clue.
As you say this, one of the storm giants says, you better watch your tongue. This is the royal family you are talking about, here in their very own home. You have no say here. And they lead you down, back
like them.
back to one of the hallways that you were in before. And you are ushered into this room, this quarters. It does look like it is sized for medium and small creatures. It appears that you are not the first ones to have come here from time to time. It doesn't look like it necessarily gets a lot of use. But there are 5 comfortable beds, a circular rug, a barrel of drinking water, an empty dresser, and an empty wardrobe.
Is there magic in this room?
No. No, doesn't appear to be.
How big is the room? We have a lot of fuckers in here.
This room is...
Does Sansari
1, 2,
fit in here?
3, 4... Yeah. 40 by 1, 2, 3,
Oh, okay.
4, 5. So 40 by 50.
Very large.
And it looks like there's two here. They look to be about the same, maybe 2 different sets of them. But you guys are ushered into one of the rooms. The door is closed behind you, and you do not hear the other giants, like the 2 storm giants that were nearby. You don't hear them.
Of course not. Why would they?
So,
Make my life a hell of a lot easier.
what would you guys like to do? It appears you got a bit of time to sit and wait.
I want to look for secret doors.
Sure.
I'm only meditating.
Search for traps, Pookie.
And Loki doing what the fuck is it called? Inspiring leader
Sure.
with the typical
And
ritual.
inviting the protection of LaRue.
Yeah, that gives everyone. let's
Okay.
see, where is it? 13 temporary hit points now.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Ooh.
Roll an investigation check for me, Crane.
That was a 27.
Okay. You scour this place, checking under tables, under beds, checking along the walls, which all seem to be solid stone. The rug, you kind of pull that aside, check underneath that. It seems like this room is just a rock box. I mean, it doesn't appear that there's any sort of things along the wall that lead outward. But even the walls in here have a slight bit of moisture to them. It seems like just all throughout this building, moisture is just ever so slightly. There's at least a thin sheen on the walls. Yeah. Which, I mean, you can, and if you like kind of like touch it, and then like maybe like you're just, I don't know, like touching your face or something, kind of like accidentally like lick your finger or whatever. It's very salty. This is all salt water.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, anything else you guys would like to do while you wait? You have a little an awkward, tense moment here. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to prepare? Just whatever you guys want to do.
I'm just resummoning my Eventide, just casting random cantrips, and keep my mind off the fact that I'm underwater.
Okay. Yeah, Moyer seems antsy. I'd say that's probably readily apparent
That's about it. Yeah.
as he messes around with like little illusions and stuff like that. Just
It's fun.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll just be meditating.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time.
Mhm.
And maybe even like seeking just like comfort, guidance from LaRue, because you know we're in the fucking we're in it now.
You're in it now.
We weren't in it
100%.
before. We're fucking in it now.
Was that
think we're in it
crab
now.
alive, by the way?
Yes.
Or was that just, yeah?
The one with the instrument. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you
That
haven't
shit's
seen
whack.
anything like it, but yeah, it appeared to be alive. freaking weird.
Oh.
So, Yarl, you take the time to do your ritual. In this straight, a little bit of the warm, because this room is kind of, it's a little cool in here, but this kind of warm pine breeze flows through. Here at the bottom of the ocean, maybe? I'm not sure where you are, but this spot that feels so far away from everything you're familiar with, you get this little bit of this strange clashing scent that does bring you a little bit of comfort. And a couple hours pass. Outside the door, you hear a voice, and you hear the two giants on either side begin to walk away. You hear the steps echoing off the rock floor down the hallway, and then the door cracks open, and standing there, you see Miran. Arms crossed, and she says, "Well, lucky for you, my sister learned a thing or two from our mother. She tends to take a liking to you small folk, and she'll hear what you have to say. Right this way."
I'm ecstatic.
You should be. She just kind of turns, starts walking down the hallway. Doesn't wait for you, it doesn't wait for you guys to, come out or anything. Just walks down, just expecting you to follow.
I mean, yeah, I follow.
Yeah.
Okay. You make your way back out out of the hallway and into the room, where the teleportation glyph was carved into the ground and kind of overlaid with this yellow dye, and then the staircase. And you see Miran walking for the staircase, and next to that staircase, you see the frost giant from earlier. She continues to walk up it, and the frost giant steps in front of the stairs. And then you see the fire giant, the stone giant, and the cloud giant are all in this room. Weapons out, as they look to all of you. And the frost giant says, "It is unfortunate, whatever twist of fate brought you here. But at the very least, I can give acquaintances of Harshnag a warrior's end." And that is where we'll call it.
Okay.
Fucking what?
Aha!
I mean, it's fine, dude. If he wants to get fucked up, whatever.
So, as all of these
Anything
giants
with that, I
have
can't.
weapons drawn, all of them look to be like lords or something of their respective
High
race.
status.
Yes. You notice many of them have conches on their belts. As they draw their weapons. And at the start of next session, when we have Frank back, aka Malachi, because I'm okay using somebody's character who's gone, a little bit, but in a big fight like this, I think it's better for him to be here.
Yeah, that's definitely fair, honestly.
So
I now understand why you said it would be easier if we killed the lords.
Well, those
Beforehand.
ones, right?
Oh, I mean, one of these was a cloud giant.
Ah.
One of
Fuck,
yeah,
do they hand out conches like candy?
not necessarily, but that doesn't
I
mean
think
there's
that's-
just one.
Yeah.
This cloud giant was a male, has a lot of this the same regal kind of aristocratic over the top clothing that Sansuri does, who has his own conch. It appears that there are multiple lords of each giant type.
What?
Yeah, it's probably just anyone who's revered enough to appear before the court.
So,
Interact.
at the beginning of next session, we're gonna roll initiative.
So we are.
And I guess what I'll do real quick is here. I'll show you guys the battle map and what it'll look like. I didn't want to pull up the battle map immediately because I didn't want to like get you guys just kind of set in that mode of
Time to fuck.
When we fight.
yeah, like, oh, we're going to go in this, you know, guns blazing. So this is the room
So
you're
we
in.
start blasting.
This is the room you're in. The frost giant is by the stairs. We have a fire giant. We have a stone giant. And we have the cloud giant, who's going to be over in this corner. So I'm going to say you guys are probably down this hallway, coming out of this hallway here. So we'll get the exact positioning of everybody. You'll have a hallway to deal with, so you kind of back up a little bit so you're not like immediately surrounded. But right now, I mean, yeah. So, we'll get to that next time.
Sick.
Alrighty then.
And I guess one last thing. I guess insight check from whoever would like it.
Fuck it.
Nice.
So,
17.
17?
I also
11.
got 17.
17? 11? Malachi probably got. Yeah, I'll roll for Malachi. Oh yeah, Malachi rolled really good.
I did not.
And he's a wise boy too.
Oh yeah, his 3.
His wisdom
Nice.
fucking your head.
Oh yeah, Malachi got a 25.
Holy shit.
He's got a +9 to that.
Holy shit.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say between Malachi and the 2 people who got 17s, when the frost giant says, like, as he's like, I can at the very least give you a warrior's end, you kind of see there is some sincerity there. He legitimately looks like this isn't. He's not happy about this. He legitimately looks like this is not what he wants to do. I would say Malachi would get kind of like, he just would get that he just like his hand is being forced.
So you're telling me I'm going to try to persuade him next session. Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to,
We could talk
you
about
could try.
this.
How big is each tile, by the way? Is it still 10
10
feet,
foot.
or-
Yeah.
Damn.
So really, these giants only take up like one space, because they're like 10 by 10. So, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's what we're gonna call it. So short session today, but I just felt like this was the best way to do it. Oh yeah, quick note. You'll notice that there's the built-in grid, but there's not a grid overlay on top of it.
Okay.
Because I could never get to match up anyway, so I just took it off. The little measurement tool should should still work. And it should still be pretty accurate.
Oh, yeah.
So, but like rather than it snapping into place, you'll just move it around freely on the grid. I'm just like, why am I trying to match this to a grid if it never fits anyway? I
Yeah.
found out how to take it off, and I'm like, frig, why didn't I do this all along? Like, what? So, all right, guys, thanks for playing. I'm excited
Yep.
for next session. I guess just things to think about. Think about what you've been told about this place, what you've been told about the royal family, particularly, the sisters. I mean, you've been told each of them.
They're cunts. That's what
well,
I've gathered.
It's fair.
I remember the Oracle told us...
because
this
there's Miron
Bitches misled Hecate.
is Miron and Nim
and
want
Nim.
the throne.
and yes, you were told that they were the ones that betrayed Hecate in some way. You're not sure how, but they did. There is a third sister who you've heard about from, I think Zephyros mentioned.
Sarissa, right?
Sarissa, yes.
Yeah.
Sarissa is the
Okay.
one, she's the youngest, and she's the one who's been named the successor.
Right.
It does not take a whole lot of insight to tell that Miron and Nim are not happy about that. Just things to think about when we come back to this next week. So,
I also don't think they like me very much.
they don't like any of you.
They don't like anyone, really.
No, they don't like a single one of you. They have no
Damn.
reason to.
It's
So,
time for Charm Monster, baby.
and as far as like the guards go, yeah, you're talking crap about the royal family they're supposed to protect. They're gonna be like, you better freaking shut up. Like, so
The tools got it.
I mean, it just makes sense. If you're a guard and they're like, oh, talking crap about the royal family, you're like, not here. We don't do that here. Alright, guys. I'll catch you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Alright. Thanks for watching. Hungry, I know you were in the chat there for a bit. Anybody else? Shorter session today. But I think we really want our cleric for this. So, yeah. In the meantime, have a good one. This will be back next Sunday if everything goes well. Like if there's no scheduling conflicts, which I don't know of any right now. So, yeah. In that case, have a good one and goodbye.